Do you know, there's nothing beats that first coffee in the morning. Certainly if you're a coffee drinker you'll understand exactly what I mean. I've just been out listening to the birds and got quite chilled. I didn't coat up properly, and I was keen to get out into the woods and just listen to the song. It doesn't last in its fullness for a huge amount of time. It sort of, as you've seen in previous videos, it grows and then it reaches the crescendo, and then it starts to tail off again as all the birds start concerning themselves with being busy nest building and courtship, and there's a little less singing. So I'm going to enjoy this and warm up, and I'll just tell you a little bit about the plan for this morning. Last week's video, so last week, it's probably two weeks ago now, I was in this same woodland at the end of the film and I found some lovely wood anemones, and I've come back to this same patch because I know there's one or two other subjects in this general vicinity that I want to try and photograph this morning. Now, unlike on the last video, I have brought my bean bag today, and the reason I didn't have it last time is because it's quite heavy, and along with the filming tripod, the main tripod and all the camera gear, if you're walking quite long distances it can just become a bit too much at times. And this morning I know I'm not going to walk very far, so I've brought everything with me so that I'm not going to get stuck should I find something high up or something low on the ground. So I'm going to enjoy this, just have 10 more minutes warmth, and then get the big coat on and the wellies, get down there and see what nature can provide for us. See you shortly. Such a lovely time of year. Bluebells are really abundant this year in this wood, and the beech leaves, look at them, beautifully fresh, just literally opened in the last week or so, and it's silent apart from the last of the birds singing. Everything just looks so lush and fresh, green. This woodland is very, very low down, right almost at sea level in Lancashire, and it's because of that all the bluebells are out and the beech leaves are at the best right now. In other parts of Lancashire, higher up, places, woodlands that I go to quite frequently, there's nothing. The bluebells are still very much in bud at the moment, so this is a real nice treat to be able to come to the different elevations and experience spring on more than one occasion. I can keep choosing the different areas I go to and able to extend the spring period almost by doing that. Not by a lot, but by enough just to give me a little bit of extended time shooting the things that I want to shoot. So I'm heading at the moment to a little spot that's got lots and lots of marsh marigolds in a very, very damp area, and that's where I'm probably going to start my session. Hopefully they're still out and I'm not too late for them. But this is really, really quite something this morning. Just above me, the nuthatch that I talked at great length about in the last video. I'll put a link above. So this is the area of marsh marigolds that I've come to see first thing this morning. What a beautiful display. Really, really lovely. And a backdrop of bluebells on the hillside behind. In the past I've done close-up shots of this and I've done wider shots of this, but never really felt that I've been successful with the wider shot, so I think I'm going to start this morning off with something a little bit wider and then progress to the more intimate scenes after that. So I have to keep creeping from behind this tree because typically marsh marigolds, the place where they grow is very, very marshy and not that easily accessible to get into position to discuss the composition. So really happy with this morning. Conditions are perfect, not a breath of wind, the light is lovely and soft, and the marsh marigolds are putting on quite a display this year, so really happy with this. So compositionally, I've got the trees aligned as I think they best suit the frame, and I'll talk about those now. So the tree on the right, which is an oak, I love the way that that right hand branch is holding the frame together on the right hand side there. Another small oak on the left hand side, just placed nicely, just holding and balancing that left hand side. And then you've got two beautiful big mature sycamores in the centre of the frame. And what I like about those is that both of them are just coming into leaf, and the leaves are sort of sitting over the marigolds like little canopies. You probably don't see that and appreciate that quite so much when you're looking at the whole scene, but certainly when this is printed very, very large, you'll be able to see all that detail when you get nice up close and personal to the print. The bluebells on the banking in the distance, I'm not too sure yet whether they'll really come through, but they're certainly very apparent standing here right now. Now the framing of the shot, I'm going to crop this into a panoramic. I don't want too much of the foreground because what you can't see from there is that as you get nearer to the marsh marigolds, there's gaps in amongst them, and I want to create the illusion of a sea of beautiful yellow in the foreground, which the trees are going to be placed in amongst. The top of the hillside, I don't want the sky, that's also a very, very big distraction, so it's all about the central belt of the frame. But I think this is a really nice way to start the morning, and hopefully I can top this shot later on. I'll put that on now. Midges are starting to bite. So I've literally walked about 30-40 yards from where I took that last shot. When I was over there framing up, I was aware of some white specular highlights in the background of the shot, top left hand side of frame. And to my eye down there, I thought they were a plant called Greater Stitchwort, which is a woodland plant but generally grows on woodland edges. When I've got up here, it's actually wild garlic and it's just coming into flower, which is why I thought it was something else. So there's a lot more green than there is white. But I thought I'd take the opportunity to have a look around here and see if I can get something of this while it's just coming into flower. Now, of course, I need to be careful. I'll show you actually. I need to be careful, so it's all behind me here where I walk, because I don't want to be trampling on the plants. So just there's a little channel that just goes up to the back of the camera here, and it takes a route that sort of goes through the garlic. And I don't know whether you can see, but I've got my camera positioned just over there to the right, sorry, to the left of that tree, and I've lined up a shot, and it's a single flower head. I was hoping to find a group of 3, but it's a single flower head, and it's just set in amongst the white flowers below it, and it's a really nice pictorial shot. So I'll take you over there now, and I'll talk you through the image. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of it in this little location. Let me just come into shot and talk you through the image that I've got. Put my goggles on, as I can't see much without them at close range. I've actually just gingerly put my tripod into position to get where I wanted. I initially framed up hand holding, and I found 1 or 2 compositions, but this one really caught my eye. Now the plant, the individual flower spike, isn't fully out, but I quite like that because it reduces the difficulties with depth of field. It's actually this one here. Ordinarily Ramson heads, they're very, very big, typical onion type flowers, And because this one is only just coming out, you've got 1 or 2 flowers that are fully out, but the rest is in bud. So you've got a very narrow sort of focal plane to work with, which is great. But even at this distance, depth of field is quite difficult. Now, I did try a couple of shots on f16 to try and get the shot in one go, but the woodland at the back is causing too many distractions. It doesn't come into sharp focus, but it certainly is far too distracting. And what I'm looking for this shot is a lovely soft background and a lovely soft ethereal foreground. The idea is that the spike will just come out of the softness at the bottom of the frame. Now, I have focus stacked it because of the difficulties with the smaller apertures. So I've taken this round about f6.7, I've taken some at f4 as well, and I've stacked as best possible using the very, very tip of the front flower working through to the back flower. I'll put all those together in Photoshop, I'll align them, stack them all together, and then hopefully that will give a lovely soft image that will just focus primarily on the flower spike and nothing else. So I'll put that on now. Really beautiful out here at the moment. Photographically it's not great, but the sun's out and that's causing 1 or 2 problems. But I've just seen a guy running, and if you stand still and listen, nothing beats that. Now this guy's running, he's got headphones on, he's listening to music, running through the woods. Just it ceases to amaze me what some people do. But the forecast this morning was for cloud to come in. This brief spell of sunshine was definitely forecast for a couple of hours, and it's not ideal, so I'm going to just have a wander, have a walk, just enjoy the fresh air and wait for that cloud to roll in, and then hopefully we can find something else. So I found another shot. And this shot's very similar to the one I took before of the Ramson flowering head, but this one is more or less what I had in my mind's eye and couldn't really find. So it's very often typically work in progress with photography and this type of photography, trying to find exactly what you're looking for, and you generally settle for something initially until such time you get what you want in the end. Now the camera's set up on it just over there, but I can't shoot it because there's just too much contrast. That cloud hasn't come in yet, so I'm going to have to wait around here until such time the clouds cover the woodland in nice soft light. If you watched last week's video, I'll put a link above, you will see that I used a cloth to shelter the plants, to put them into the nice soft light. But because the background of this one is too far away, I can't cover the background sufficiently enough to take the shot with that one piece of cloth, so I'm going to have to wait. But birds are still singing, so it's not a bad place to be, to sit and enjoy a bit of peace and quiet. I've been sat here for many a while waiting for the sun to go in. It's teasing me. I've had 2 or 3 goes where the clouds come over the sun and I've started the shot. I'm taking a sequence of shots, possibly 9 or 10 on this one, focus stacked, because I'm on f4. I want to really capitalise on the soft background and soft foreground. It's that flower spike there, and what I've got, and the reason I'm using f4 is because in front of it here there's a leaf blade, and I'm using that leaf blade to soften the stem as it comes into the bottom of the shot, so the stem is not cut off abruptly. So the leaf blade is closer to the camera and is out of focus at f4, so it just creates a nice soft part to the image. There's another leaf blade at the back that runs in the opposite direction, so you've got a cleft almost where the stem goes in. And then of course the flower head, which is just surrounded by lovely soft vegetation. I just need to wait for the sun to go in. I ain't taking any more until I'm guaranteed that it's gonna stay in long enough. But typically what happens when the sun goes in, the wind picks up ever so slightly. So along with f4, I'm on 1/25th shutter speed of a second, and I'm on 800 ISO just to make sure that I get the shot sharp. I don't want to risk any movement or discrepancies in trying to align the shots when I come to stack them in Photoshop. So I haven't got it yet, but I am going to put that shot on now. So that took roughly about an hour to achieve. No sooner had the sun gone behind the clouds, but the wind picked up. If you look at these beech leaves just here, moving ever so slightly, but of course with a macro lens at 1:1, that's magnified enormously. So that was the problem I had. Now I've just looked at all the individual shots as part of the stack on the LCD screen, and I do seem to have got sharpness in the right places on each one, but you've seen the image, so you obviously know whether it's worked or not. Let me know what you think of that compared to the one I took earlier on. The first one, to my mind, was very much work in progress, whereas the second one was what I was really after. It's been a great morning. The light this morning on the panoramic was really beautiful, and I'm looking forward to seeing that when I get back. But if you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, it's always good. Leave some comments below, let me know what you think of the film. I'm going to put all the images on now at the end, but I'm going to be back in this woodland very, very soon. So until then, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.